Hey, gorgeouses. How is everybody doing? How was everyone's Thanksgiving? I know mine was amazing. I didn't have to cook, which is very unlike me. I love cooking. I'm sort of like the Martha Stewart that way. But just was able to take in the day, relax and everything, and just really take in to be thankful for everything that I have. One of them being you amazing followers out there and the amazing questions and comments that I get. And that's what I want to focus on this video blog. Now, I want to congratulate myself here because good news, guys. Drum roll, please. My viral load is what is considered undetectable. Now, we'll get into it a little bit later in this video blog exactly what undetectable means, but as an HIV patient, that's great news where I want to be, right where I want to be. So I'm extremely happy and proud to stand up and say that. Hell yeah, bitches. So, I got a great couple questions that I want to talk about in my last video. If you tune to BIV25, that video blog, I have a couple questions on there that I would like to touch base on. First one being the main one that I really want to talk about is from Azure Hermitage. I hope I pronounced your name right, but your question being AIDS is a situation whereby the T cell count is below a certain number. HIV is a virus that can potentially cause the AIDS condition. Is it possible to use medication to move from the AIDS condition to a non-AIDS condition? Great question. Main thing you want to know here is that HIV and AIDS are two different things. Two different things. Now, HIV, the human immunodeficiency virus. This is a virus. It's a lentivirus. Lenti meaning slow progression disease. So this is a slow progressing virus that slowly attacks your body over time and whatnot. So basically in the short term, you may not even notice that you have it or anything. So HIV is the actual virus. Whereas AIDS is a syndrome. In fact, it has a lovely name called the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Basically what happens is after a certain amount of time, and they're doing studies right now, they being people, do your own individual research, you'll learn that there's a lot of studies. Are there different causes of AIDS? We know HIV is one cause, but are there other causes of AIDS? There's different questions and debates going on about it right now. Quite interesting. Do a little bit of research. It's kind of fun. At least I think it's fun. I don't know what's wrong with me. So now AIDS is an actual symptom where you acquire it. You can't catch AIDS. So people out there that are like, oh my God, I'm going to catch AIDS. You can't catch AIDS, people. Seriously, it's like thinking you're going to catch the gay. Oh my gosh, watch out. A gay guy looked at me. Oh my God. It's like me. I'm sorry, I get looked at all the time by girls, and I get hit on by girls all the time. I don't get offended. Just know I ain't going near your snatch, okay? I mean, I will take it as a compliment and everything like that. I mean, my goodness. Holy cow. Big whoop. But you can't catch AIDS. Period. Okay, guys? Now, basically what happens when you get to the AIDS, it's a syndrome where your immune system is basically shot. It doesn't really want it can't sustain its own self because it's just after a chronic illness, for example, HIV, this virus that slowly attacks them over time, it's finally broken down to the point where it can no longer replicate itself, and you are at risk to opportunistic infections. And you being, if you're an HIV positive patient and you now have AIDS, so you actually have AIDS and HIV, you're co-infected with both. So that's how it works. So it's not like you have HIV and it turns into AIDS. No, you get AIDS on top of HIV. So it's definitely important to understand the difference between the two. I know they sound the same, have the same words and whatnot. They aren't the same though. Okay? You on track there? Okay. Now, I'm a very visual learner here. And I drew a graph poorly, but nonetheless I drew a graph. So I'm hoping that you guys can interpret it and we can go from there. Now, basically what I have made here, and you can look on Google. Google is a great place to look for pictures, and there's other pictures out there that are just like this, except way better. So this is just gives you an idea and whatnot. And again, I'd like to first off start by saying that I am not a doctor. I am not board certified. I'm not licensed in any way, shape, or the form in the human field, so I can't give medical advice or anything like that. This is all based off my own individual research and whatnot. So please, questions, comments. This is just my understanding to the best of my knowledge. So I made this chart here. Now, basically, if you notice that in red, I have outlined what do we know as the viral load. How much of the virus is in the body. And then the darker line, you notice that I labeled as CD4s. So basically, your immune system. How well is your immune system handling this? And then those are both on the y-axis. And then x-axis would be time. So basically what I have here is, there you go. Now, if you notice here that your viral load starts at 0 and it goes way up, and this is what's in your acute infection. Now, like I said, this is where my graph gets a little iffy because it's not really proportionate. Usually this happens within the first couple of weeks, first couple of months of your infection, and this is where your body doesn't even know it has new virus in there. It probably smells something going on there, but your virus is replicating so fast and everything, your body just doesn't know. So what happens is, if you notice, your CD4s, they sort of just start plateauing off. They don't know what's going on. They're dying off is what's happening. But then you notice, see, this little valley is supposed to be with this peak. Oops. So imagine those both the same. So basically what happens is once your virus starts picking up what's going on, it goes, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to start making antibodies to this virus. So it starts combating the virus. And so you notice that the viral load starts going down and the CD4s start going up. Now the CD4s aren't going to go back up to normal. Studies have shown just because since HIV is a chronic illness, your body's always going to be sort of fighting it off. That's life. So you notice that. Then in this, like I said, this all usually happens within the first couple weeks to the first couple months. And this is where, if you're going to show any signs of contracting HIV, this is where you're going to develop them. Now, for my me example, I got really sick. I got mononucleosis. I had fever, night sweats. I lost so much weight, everything like that. Just very flu-like symptoms. So if you're going to develop any symptoms or anything like that, usually this is when you're experiencing the first couple of weeks, months that you're infected. A lot of people, they misinterpret it and they think they just get the flu and everything and then they get better. Because what happens is if you look at this chart, you guys, your CD4s go back to normal. So your bodies well, not to normal, but you get the idea. Your CD4s go back up and your virus goes down. And so what happens is your body thinks it has it under control and everything, but remember, HIV is a virus and there's no cure for it, and it's a lentivirus. It takes its sweet ass time up in there, okay? So you just got to remember, know your status, go and get tested, okay? So again, first couple months. So then you notice that slowly over time. So this last part here, basically this whole last part is basically 8 to 10 years. You can think of it like that. Studies have shown where, and this is if you don't take meds or anything like that, this is where most patients, if they don't manage themselves or anything, this is what's going to happen. So when HIV first came around, 8 to 10 years was your general prognosis, if not sooner than that, for death or whatnot. So what happens is people don't even die from HIV. You don't die from HIV. You will die from possibly AIDS, but AIDS isn't going to kill you. It's the opportunistic infections. And so what do I mean by that? So again, you see your CD4s, you see your viral load. What do you see happening? Okay, slowly over time, 8 to 10 years. 8 to 10 years. So what happening is this lentivirus, this chronic disease, is taking its time on your CD4s. Slowly over time, your body is giving up. It's giving out. You know, it just, I mean, it can only take so much. It's your body. That's why you got to be nice to it and take care of it. And so you notice that slowly over time it goes down, and what happens is it reaches this threshold. And now some believe this threshold to be is once your CD4s reach about 200 per ml. Now this is just a volume and everything. So once that's the magic number, is 200 CD4s. That's when you start getting really borderline, and a lot of doctors consider you to be HIV, or that you've now progressed into the final stages. You've now crossed into the AIDS diagnosis. So to my understanding, you cannot go from AIDS back into an HIV diagnosis. But Then again, once you move into AIDS, it's not like you're HIV negative from there on out. No, 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 no. Remember what I told you guys. You can actually, it's a co-infection. You get them both at the same time. Now, it's not like you're going to get HIV and AIDS at the same time, but once you have HIV, if you don't take care of yourself and you don't manage the HIV in itself, this is what's going to happen. Your HIV is just going to progress, and then what's happened is your HIV takes over and your CD4s plummet down. Then you are diagnosed with AIDS, then you have HIV, and then you're prone to opportunistic infections. And so that's what ends up killing most HIV patients is they get things like the cold, the flu, that then progresses into pneumonia, they get fluid in their lungs, then they get deathly ill and everything, and then they die from that. So HIV doesn't kill people. AIDS doesn't even kill people. It's more or less the opportunistic infections that we're susceptible to. So now, if we go back to, remember when I told you my viral load was undetectable. Now, basically, what that means is my CD4s are camping out. Hold on, let me get my magic book again. So what's happening is my CD4s, we go back to this chart, my CD4s are camping out right about up here. They're just sort of hanging out and everything. But my viral load, what happens is, boop, it's not even on this chart. It's technically 0 right now. It's undetectable. You can't read it. So undetectable means you have less than 50 copies per ml of blood, which means they can't find 50 copies. They can't find 50 viruses in a ml of blood, which is amazing. So that means your body is managing well. That means if you're on medications, if you're not on medications and you're undetectable, hats off to you. Congratulations. You have a super immune system. Let me tell you. To be an HIV positive person and have your viral load come back undetectable for the first time, amazing. I love it. So definitely I hope that answers your question as far as HIV and AIDS. To my knowledge, just to reiterate, I don't think you can go back from AIDS back into HIV, but it's like I said, it's not like once you get diagnosed with HIV or once you get diagnosed with AIDS, all of a sudden you're HIV negative. Nope, doesn't work that way. You have them both. So next question that I would like to address here is from Reed B18. And you commented, so I'm facing a similar situation as you are. When I was back in college, like a million years ago. How old are you? I met this guy and we became besties and whatnot. Then he moved away overseas about a year ago, then came back in relationship. Okay, hold on. And then he was diagnosed with HIV and he said to go get tested. And I don't hear from him anymore, and I'm not sure where to get tested or who to talk to. Well, you came to the right place because I will talk, and that's for sure. And all I can really say is go get tested, please. There's no excuse anymore. They have over-the-counter tests. They only test for antibodies, though. And as I explained with my little diagram there, it can take a while for your body to develop antibodies. So definitely, if you get a negative result on the antibody test, retake it again in about 3 to 6 months, because then definitely by then you will know if you have HIV or whatnot. Your body will have reacted by then, and you will have antibodies towards it. Or what you can do is they have rapid tests now where they actually just flat out test. It's a Western blot test, and they just flat out test for the virus itself, and they give you a viral load and they do CD4 count, the whole shebang. So you can go to your own doctor. If you don't have a doctor, Planned Parenthood. I don't know what locally you have offering to you, but I know out here in California, San Diego, we have Planned Parenthood where you can just go in and you can get tested, and you give them fictional names. You don't even have to be flat out honest with them. You could just go in there and get tested. There's no reason anymore, people, to not get tested. Over 500,000 people in the United States alone don't know they have HIV, which means over 500,000 people in the world are out there having sex with people that are not taking necessary precautions, I'm sure. Maybe not 500,000 of them, but they aren't taking necessary precautions, in my opinion, only because They should know their status. There's no reason not to know your HIV status. It is not a gay disease. It is not a black person disease. It is not a woman. It is not a man disease. Okay? It does not discriminate. And, which brings me to another point. Just go get tested. No shame or harm in it. Please do not beat yourself up over it. You'd rather find out that you have it and start managing your virus before you reach AIDS. Because once you reach AIDS, I mean, you can still live healthy and everything like that. It's going to be a lot more difficult for you. So just face facts, go get tested. Hopefully it comes back negative. If not, still not the end of the world. Keep moving, one foot in front of the other. That's all you can do. Okay? And now for those people, don't listen to people out there either that think HIV is a fictional disease. I just can't believe in this day and age that people, what's wrong with people? Okay? Now, I actually got one comment on my BIV 25 from HIV vids. And now, HIV videos, I'm sorry. Now, he says that I love you, bro, and I do watch your videos, but those of us who have testified against this religious belief system and learned the truth about these religious doctrines are only trying to help you. I think you put too much faith in these doctors who pose as HIV specialists. Try to open your mind and learn the truth about Dr. Gallo and the CDC. Now, for those of you that don't know Dr. Gallo, he was basically the one who founded HIV. What I mean by founded, he discovered it, he gave it its name, everything like that. He's the one who basically discovered it. And the CDC is the Center for Disease Control of the United States, and basically what they do is they keep track of all the infectious diseases going across, and they try and keep it down to a minimum and everything like that. And they try and keep widespread, like plagues, everything like that, like West Nile, they were in charge of that, MRSA, like methicillin-resistant infections and stuff like that, but HIV is one of them as well. Now, some people, like such as yourself, whoever posted up for HIV videos, basically said that HIV, and he had a couple other comments on there telling me how it was a fictional disease. Now, there are plenty of other viruses in other species of animals, for example, cats, monkeys. Cats get what's called FIV. Monkeys get what's called SIV. Okay, so it's a lentivirus that attacks the immune system, basically the same type of mechanisms that are with the HIV, except it's for that species. Now, don't get scared thinking you can catch HIV from your cat or something like that, or if you touch a monkey, you're going to get HIV from them. It's specific to their own species and everything, but nonetheless, there are other species that have immunodeficiency viruses, and I'm sure as we do more scientific research, we are going to come to learn that there are so many other type of immunodeficiency viruses out there that HIV is not the only one out there. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised. Not pleasantly either, but I mean, we're going to find out a lot. So please refrain from posting those comments and everything, and don't believe people that they're conspiracists and everything out there just because I don't know where they're getting their information from. It's just still in this day and age, if you think HIV is a fake thing, how many people need to die before it becomes a reality? And I can definitely see both sides of the story, but I'm a firm believer in Western medicine, and I have seen the progression of life throughout just the history of medicine in itself, and it's gotten progressively better and better and better and better. Do I necessarily agree with everything? No. Like I said, if you don't agree with one doctor, go get another opinion. That's all that matters. And so for HIV videos, whoever posted it up, I'm sorry that you feel that I put too much faith in these doctors and that I don't open my mind and learn the truth about Dr. Gallo and them and the CDC. But if you followed my entire videos and whatnot, I appreciate that you do support me HIV videos. But if you followed my other videos and were a true supporter, you would understand that I tried alternative therapies. I tried looking at other things like that. But unfortunately, there are no scientific studies out there that actually back up what they're trying to prove with these products they're trying to push down. I am not going to inject my veins with silver. I am not going to hook myself up to an electrical outlet and shock my body to get rid of the HIV. There's no scientific data to back any of those up. But trust me, if you have any links, anything like that, any study documentation or whatnot, legitimate documentation, that is, please, I'm all ears. I'm always open towards it and everything. But as far as I'm concerned, I am managing my HIV to the best of my knowledge and everything like that, as well as millions of other HIV patients are now that they're on the HIV medications. HIV is now finally, it's not a death sentence anymore, and it shouldn't be treated as such. So please, again, you guys, keep the questions and comments coming. And I've learned that I can post up really long videos on YouTube now. It's kind of scary. I can almost talk myself blue. And I feel like 20 minutes is about my limit right now, but please, you want more questions or anything like that, please ask me. I hope you guys have a great weekend, everything like that. I look forward to checking with you guys again next week. Anyways, love you guys. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Go get tested.